All right, Max, what we're going to do is, some people were asking what's the difference between a top professional player and a YouTuber. And we're going to break a rack of 9-ball. Then I'm going to explain what I'm doing while you are outside, so you don't know how I'm going to run this rack or I'm trying to run this rack. And then you are going to come in and you are going to give me or the people your analysis. And then we're going, of course, to run the rack. That's looking pretty solid. Okay, so you can go outside, take a walk, relax. I'm going to talk the people through, and then we're going to bring you in.
All right.
And then we will see how you attempt it.
Yep.
Okay, I'm really curious on that one. That was a really great idea in the comment section. So huge thank you for this one. Okay, I think on the opening shot, what I would try to do, since it's maybe a bit too much angle, I would just try to go 1, 2 rails to here. Then of course I can't, it's difficult to control the ball 100%. In the best case, I would try to end with the cue ball here, so that I have that angle where I'm going into the rail and then back out to the 4. On the 4, I would say that angle would be nice. So if I'm staying on that side on the 4, so that I can go 1, 2 rails into here. In the best case, I'm ending up straight on that 5-ball. I think this is probably what Max is also going to do. Then from the 5 to the 6, depends on the exact angle that we're going to face. I mean, if I can just roll it in and here, I can pretty much go 1 rail out. This would be nice, because with that 1 rail path, once I'm here, I need a bit of an angle on that 7-ball, because from the 7-ball, I want to go, remember those balls are already gone. I want to probably shoot from here, come with the cue ball from here, leave myself an angle on the 8-ball. Maybe I can also play a stop, draw back from the 6 into the rail to here. But as I mentioned, it will probably depend on the exact angle on the 5, but I'm trying to get straightish. And then from the 8, if I'm ending up with that angle, which would be the goal, I will probably just come down 1 rail, maybe come into the rail like this. As I mentioned, you can't always get the pinpoint position, so it will depend a bit. I mean, in the best case, the ball in hand position would be to end here and then come into the line. But from the 7, I think I will try to stay above. And then it depends a bit on the exact angle. With that angle, I'm coming down directly. With a bit less angle, I'm maybe using that rail and coming into the line. Well, I think this is my general plan. Of course, I might have to adjust if I don't get the desired position at one point. Okay, should we bring Max in? And I'm really curious to hear what he is thinking.
Hello again. So everything explained?
Everything explained, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So basically what I'm gonna do after the break shot is to try to figure out if there are any problem balls on the table, which are not in this case. The only ball I see at first is the 5-ball, because you want to play it only in this corner pocket, because here it's pretty close. I don't think it fits. Okay, so if I go aggressive, if I'm attacking on a layout, I first start with a 9. Where do I want to have position on the 9-ball? Then, okay, let's say maybe here. Okay, how do I get from the 8 to the 9 to put the cue ball there? Probably to leave the cue ball anywhere here, to go 1 rail there. Okay, where do I have to play position on the 7 to put the cue ball here for the 8? So you go from the 9 to the lowest ball. That's how I basically do it. Yeah, like I said, in this case, everything is in the open. You just need a good angle on the 4-ball to put the cue ball there, and the rest should be pretty routine.
Okay. So let's just talk the people really quick through your plan. Where do you go from the 2 to the 3, 3 to the 4, 5, 4 to the 5, and all of that?
Yeah.
Just because I told them as well what each shot would be in theory the plan. Of course, it doesn't go always as you plan.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. I would play the 2 ball with a little bit of left spin to avoid the scratch 1 rail in the side, and go long rail, and leave it ideally here to have an angle to come 1 rail to the 4. Play the 4 in the corner, go long rail to the 5. Ideally would be a straight in shot, stop shot, go from the 6, either draw back or go 1 rail and leave the cue ball somewhere in the center of the table and draw back with a little bit of left spin, long rail, cue ball there, roll it in with a little bit of right, and that's how it should be.
And what do you say? If you compare our 2 plans, are they identical?
I think pretty much.
It's basically exactly the thing I've said.
Yeah, I think this layout is pretty obvious what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, when we play, we would play a little bit different. You could also play it with check side. It's personal preference to go below the side. So either go here or there. Personal preference. You have a better chance of the ideal angle.
Ideal angle if you go
with
past
the left.
side. Yeah.
With left spin, but yeah, like I said, I rather make it with right spin than miss it with left spin if I prefer to play it with check side.
Yeah, that's what I always tell people. I mean, the textbook shot would, I think, be this one. But if you try to play every shot textbook and you miss the shots because of that, then you should go always number 1 rule, make the shot first, right?
I think in every match there's at least 1 shot I play wrong, but I make sure to stay on the table.
Right, yeah.
And have a tougher shot than risk to miss and have an easy shot afterwards.
Right, yeah. Same for me. Sometimes I sacrifice position and the angle to make the ball,
That's one basic thing you learn, stay on the table, even if you can't run out.
Yeah.
But you're still on the table, you're still in control.
I still have control, If you're missing, you lose control, but if you play a control
so this
safety,
is the most important, to stay on the table, stay in control, and you can decide to stay aggressive or play safe if you miss position.
Yeah, great. Okay, I think that was a great insight, and I'm really happy that we think alike. But I think at one point, if you reach a certain level, layouts like this.
Yeah, I mean there is not really a different a second option. In my opinion, you might have slightly different angles. Might go with the cue ball here, which is pretty risky, but yeah, like I said, I mean, it's personal preference at the end of the day, but the textbook, what you were talking about, is probably what I said, to leave the cue ball here, leave it here for the 4, leave it here for the 5, and so on.
I think so too. I think it's actually good that it's a rack like this, because there is little room for for changing things. So that was actually a nice layout to discuss. So
on some certain points you can discuss on leaving an angle like this on the 8, or to leave the cue ball here on the 8. That's personal preference, but
I think
here in this case it's pretty obvious to not leave it here, because it's tougher to put the cue ball there.
Right.
The long rail position will always bring you there.
Yeah, that's basically ball in hand position, but from the 7 to the 8, this is what you're going for.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we think pretty much 100% alike. That's great. That's great to hear. Now I'd say let's try to run it.
Yeah. Okay. I broke. Is your shot? I broke.
Yeah, it's my shot. So let's run it in Scotch doubles. If we miss or if I miss, then
that's all right.
It's how it is.
Pretty much ideal.
Yeah. Do you always pick a point on the rail?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
Not sure if I want to end up straight in or if I follow and leave the cue ball somewhere here. That could also be personal preference. I mean,
Yeah.
I might follow it with a little bit of right spin to guarantee an angle.
Nice. It's a bit short of pace. Maybe the inside one. Oh.
Yeah, maybe inside it is to leave the cue ball.
Yeah. So by inside we mean right,
Right spin.
This, yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe just come here.
Maybe
I prefer
here, leave a bit
to
of a
go
longer
here.
shot.
to guarantee a shot on the 8, even if
Yeah.
it's not ideal.
I think
But
here
with the
my-
inside, you can be too short
You can be
or
too
go
short.
too hard and,
Yeah.
and go here. So
then it's over. So
that guarantees you a shot. So
Yeah.
I'd probably go for the left spin.
yeah, split the difficulties.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Yeah. Just because I went a bit too short, but I mean, you're supposed to make that 8 ball. It wasn't
I
that
mean, it wasn't-
difficult of a shot.
Yeah, it wasn't that easy, but I would not slow roll it. to be
Yeah,
honest. I would play it with a higher pace and maybe try to play position for the 8, the 9 to the side here or here.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because I like to go through
to
the ball.
stroke it, yeah.
to
If you
strike it
baby
better.
that shot, it's so easily missed.
Yeah, and
That's actually what was in my mind when I was down. I was like, maybe you should play it with more pace, but
Yeah.
common mistake, just
Yeah.
still pulled the trigger.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean,
Lesson learned, hopefully.
yeah, lesson learned.